What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan in 2021 with Conquer Trading and Investing. So happy to be here this morning with all of you. I really feel like the year is beginning right now, this Monday morning, with all of you. I missed you all so much. So excited for this session, just to get back into it, just to be together again with you, to find out what is going on over here together. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. It's time for us to get to work. This session is super, super important. Maybe for many of us, it's because simply we just want to go ahead and get that fresh perspective, right? Markets were volatile overnight. For me, for myself, because this is the first day of 2021, it's so important to get back into the flow over here, to get back sharp before I begin my attack. I want to look for what's weak out there. I want to see what is setting up. And I just want to wait and make sure that I feel the flow before I start attacking once again. What is going? So let's check it out. Let's start with the indexes. I want to get into my normal warm-up routine. I'm going to go over the indexes first. There's so much to talk about, including what's going on with the DXY. Gold and silver have broken out of our levels we were looking for out of those bull flags. We're going to obviously track what's going on over there. Bitcoin pulled back 20% overnight. We're going to take a look over there. Ethereum pulled back 27% overnight, trading back. Was it back above 1,000? 4 digits on Ethereum. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at Ethereum, Bitcoin. We're going to look at it all together, and we're going to get into FX and see what's going on, because you know what? The only reason that I personally am able to navigate the market so well is because of all the work I put into FX on the currencies. If you want to better your game, focus in on FX. You'll be able to trade anything and everything. All right, let's start off with the S&P 500. Right, what do we got going on today? I'm looking at the indexes and I see one thing. I see the S&P making new all-time highs. It looks like the Nasdaq is as well. What about the Dow? Yep. Then the one thing that I see over here is the weak gazelle. Look what's going on over here with the E-mini Russell. You see, as the S&P, as the Dow, and as the Nasdaq are making new all-time highs, the Russell over here is lagging a little bit, right? What does that mean? Does that mean that we should be looking here to short over here as the other three indexes are making all-time highs? No, not at all. Technically, the indexes look very solid. Even the Russell over here trading above that last bit of support. It's still very possible. It's still all technically very, very bullish. Everything is possible. The structure's in place all around, but this one is lagging over here now. We can continue watching it, right? If we start seeing the S&P, we start seeing the Nasdaq starting to lose some levels, and then Russell continues to lead on the downside, that's what we'll be stalking and looking for, perhaps. Right now, we're looking at S&P 500 new all-time highs, and I just want you to see, after breaking out of the channel, right? We came back up, we tested. This is conquering the markets all day long. Breakout, retest, resumption. That's all. There's zero for us to do here on the indexes. There's zero for us to look at to do. Only notice what's going on over there. What about on the Nasdaq? Same thing over there. We came right into that trend line. The last that we left off, we were watching that, right? Came into that trend line, held new all-time highs. Bullish, but nothing to see here. Move right along. Equities are not interesting. Same thing over here with the Dow, right? New all-time highs. Fine. We got that. There's nothing for us to do there right now, right? But we're making observations. Observations, structurally, everything is extraordinarily bullish over there. What's the signal we're looking at in 2021 right now? Well, there's a couple of things. I do have to say, if you look at what's going on over there, I think we're going to see a lot of pain. We're going to be seeing a lot of pain out on Main Street, right? Is that $600 check going to do anything for anyone? Absolutely not. Foreigners got a bunch of money in the U.S. COVID bill. Americans, right? I don't know. The economy and the markets are two different things. You have to separate those in your head. The signal that I'm looking at this year, you all know I've been very clear about it. I think it's the most important thing going on in the markets. It's that $315 billion of QE purchases coming a month. Is QE deflationary? I think you all understand by now it is not. I know that we had that discussion early on. I think we all see that. What's the housing market doing right now? Right? Unbelievable. All right. So what are we looking at though? We're looking at the dollar being taking new yearly lows. When I say yearly, I'm talking about 12-month lows right now, right? What are we looking at the dollar, by the way? Do you see over here this 83, 88.40? That's our next line of support. If I zoom out a little bit just to give you a bit of perspective, that happened all the way in March of 2018. That's the next area that we're targeting. Right over here, there's a bunch of supply. Yeah, it's possible the dollar could put in a bottom over here. Everything's against the dollar. Anyone who continually has been calling a bottom on the dollar, and I've seen it all over the place. I don't need to call out any names, right? They got people on the wrong side of the trade. All right. But right now, there's nothing for us to say or do. What is interesting this morning? What is interesting this morning? By the way, just let me get it out there. Just let me, why I got you all huddled up. We do on Wednesday is January the 6th. Some people view that as a possible risk event because of the electoral college votes being possibly disputed. But also understand that's not anything new under the sun, right? How many times has that happened recently, right? You all are aware that the Democrats did that in 2016, right? When else was that done? In 2000, and one election in between there, right? So out of the last 4 elections, it's been done 3 times. So I don't really personally consider it a risk event. But just be aware of what's going on around you. That situational awareness. You never know, right? 2020 showed us that the things that you think can never happen could happen really quick. And by the way, when we look at Signal and I talk about what's going on in the U.S. economy, right? Look, follow what's going on with Amazon. Follow what's going on with this move we're seeing from small businesses into these large conglomerates, right? They're going to keep the market going. When we look at markets, really what's keeping things afloat because we know where all that money is being funneled into. Dollar might shoot up. Depends who you're listening to. But we'll see what happens. All right. Anyway, let's take a look at gold over here. Look at this beautiful bull flag. We now have the breakout. We now have the clarity above 1914. You could all see it over here. And what happens next after the breakout of this bull flag? Well, the next thing we're tracking is 1976. We got a bit of resistance above there. Above that is all-time highs. 2021, I've been clear and firm. Gold remained, right? Didn't I remain firm on that? Gold remained in a bull market, right? Technically, it was off. We had to wait for the breakout of that. We were able to find out what was a bull flag. We had to wait for the breakout of this trend line we've been tracking for a long time. It's breaking out now, right? New all-time highs in 2021 and much higher, I think. What about silver also? Same thing, broke out of that bull flag. Silver now above that 26 level. Silver now taking out that last swing high over here. Silver on its way to taking out, perhaps. Well, I think so. That 2020 high, all-time high, still got a ways to go. Could that happen in 2021? I still think that whoever wins Georgia is a big deal, right? I still think that's a big deal. I'm off. Anyone know when that we're going to find out the results of that? Please let me know in the chat. I'm not aware. I'm out of the flow. I'm out of the groove. But that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Whoever wins Georgia, if the one party, if the Democrats retain control over the House and the Senate, we could see some explosive moves in silver. January 6th. Thanks, Graham. January 6th. Hopefully, we get the results election night or election day that day. No. So those looking to position themselves in to gold and silver, right? So we don't ever buy chasing that momentum. Right now, if you just follow my mouse over, you could see over here that we're into a little bit of resistance over there, right? Either which way, you're always waiting for that pullback. If you need to pull up the true trend, go ahead and pull up the true trend, right? Go up and make sure that anytime you're buying, do you see this green? The green and this is the histograms here. This shows that we're in an uptrend, right? You're waiting for the entry CCI, the blue line, to be pulled back against the trend, right? And then you're waiting for price to go ahead and make that higher high. It's like a slingshot, right? But that's going to prevent you from chasing momentum. You see over here, the entry CCI is towards that trend. You never want to buy chasing that momentum. or more often than not always, because sometimes overbought is going to remain overbought, right? But more than likely, what's going to happen is you're going to buy, and then price is going to go immediately go against you. Kips, good to see you, brother. Great to see everybody. Great to, I don't mean to single Kips out. Absolutely fantastic to see everyone. Kips was a little missing in action though the last week that we were live streaming. That's why I said that. But this morning, what a joy to see all of you in the chat this morning, to be back together, getting going over here. We're traveling later today after breakfast this morning. We're traveling back home, right? So this evening there'll be no afternoon update. But then we'll be back home this afternoon, back to our normal schedule going forward. That includes, obviously, our live streams in the morning and then our afternoon updates. All right, what else do we got going on over here? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto. All right. Yeah. By the way, just so everyone is aware, like if you're all into politics, if you're really into, go somewhere else. We don't do that here. Like, this environment is like unlike anything else that you'll find anywhere on the internet. Not only for the quality of the education, not only for the community and how we continue to sharpen each other and to grow in knowledge and in just our intellect keeps one way forward. What you'll learn here, you will not learn anywhere else. That's for sure. Right? But we don't play games as far as like, trolling and triggering. You'll just be gone in a second. I could care less. There's no room for that over here. This is a positive and supportive environment with the one goal of bettering ourselves and building a future for our families. That's it. If you're going to get in the way of that, you're gone. That's all. All right. So what else? Let's talk about Bitcoin over here, right? And of course, we're all adults in the room. When we need to talk about things that are going to affect the markets, we'll talk about them all day long. But we're not like, that's it. Thank you, Kips. So, by the way, just let me address it really quick, because there were some people, maybe they're new to the channel. I have no idea. Over my vacation, I was putting out some videos on a passion of mine on Bitcoin, right? And some people are like, "Oh, Jordan, you focus too much on Bitcoin." Well, whatever. I mean, I think that I happen to spend a lot of time covering the markets, right? That's what we do day in and day out. Now, from the inception of this channel, I made sure that everyone understood what I believe to be the most important trade, and that was Bitcoin, the time and energy I put into that Bitcoin playlist to make sure that everyone had the opportunity to understand it and get positioned into it. Now, as 2021 approaches, and I always said it's in the first quarter right now of 2021, when we're going to start seeing a big disconnect between Bitcoin and the rest of the markets. Don't think for a second, after all that hard work and positioning we put in, that we're not going to enjoy that. Of course we will, right? Nevertheless, we'll stay focused. We'll stay sharp. That's all. We had a big drawdown over here overnight. We had a 20% drawdown on Bitcoin. Let's just go ahead and mark it really quick. You could see, just so everyone could see it visually. That's exactly a 20% drawdown over there on Bitcoin. What's interesting that it came right back into our magic line over here, our last broken trend line of resistance that then became support over here. You can see it holding so far again as support. That 20% drawdown also closed the CME gap. Look at this giant gap over here, by the way. That's a gigantic CME gap over here, and it was closed down overnight, right? By the way, do these gaps always get closed? No. Look at this gap over here. This gap over to 23,600. It's a big one. Will that ever be closed? Maybe. That gap could get closed, by the way. That would be a 30% pullback. Am I right or am I wrong? Right? Yeah, that would be right around a 30% pullback, a little bit more. I said 2,600. Oh, no, I said 23,600. Yeah, so that would be a little more than a 30% pullback, a 32% pullback. Is that something that could happen? Of course, that could happen all day long. Always expect at least a 30% pullback. In last cycle, we had a 39% pullback. That would be reasonable. Is this gap down over here at 18,200 going to get closed? I sincerely doubt it. Anything's possible. What about below that? We have another gap down over here at 17,000. Is that going to get closed? I sincerely doubt it. We still have this gap down over here. Now, we've talked about it before. I don't need to talk about it again. Some people think this was closed. I don't think it was closed because that was the opening over here. We came back down in, but never fully closed it. If you want to see a history of gaps not getting closed, look at a chart of Amazon. You'll see it all over the place. By the way, Real Vision put out an interview with a Chinese billionaire. I forget his name, who had gone into quote unquote exile about 13 months ago, and he talked about that within a year Jack Ma would be disappeared. Just a little bit of prayers out there for Jack Ma. He's been 2 months since he's appeared in public. He had in Africa a television series for entrepreneurs in Africa where he was the judge. It was his show. He was taken off the website and off the finale of that episode, replaced by a CEO of Alibaba. He just has not been heard from. We all know what happened with Ant Financial, and just keep him in your prayers. That's not a good, hopefully he resurfaces soon. That's all. So Reza, we'll come back to that in 1 second, and then we want to talk about alt season. Let me just pause 1 second. Let me get my bearings. I'm not going to go into any other comments or I'll get too distracted. Let me talk about over here on gold really quick. Is that strong resistance at 1940, right? We got a little bit of resistance here at 1940, but that's what you're expecting. This is the focus on this. This is the bull flag. Oh, we need to get that a little bit darker. You guys know, by the way, you all know me very well. You all know my first session back is a little bit lagging. And then by tomorrow, I'm in the extreme flow. Do watch out for that. But over here, you can see this bull flag over here, the breakout. So yeah, are we into a bit of resistance right now? All of this area between here, more over here at 1960, and then big one at 1976. That's all resistance, but we're expecting the breakout, and then we're looking for the next retrace and or consolidation. If you get a pullback into 1914, that's a line that you're watching to hold. If that holds, boom, that's what you're, patience right now. Patience. There's no need to FOMO. You're just getting the technical breakout right now. This thing is just getting warmed up. I personally believe gold's going to make new all-time highs in 2021. There's no rush here. If this is something that you want to be involved in, wait. But I also happen to believe silver is the better trade over here right now. And I also happen to believe personally, not investment advice. Just because I say something, don't act on it. Understand what you're doing and why you're doing it yourself. But over here, I said, I guess a week or two before we stopped, that the gold to silver ratio was going to start heading towards silver's direction. I believe that continues. I guess bottom line is just wait. We'll talk about alt season in a second. Obviously, it's pretty clear right now that alt season has triggered, right? If you want to know when to exit, there's a clear video on the Bitcoin channel that talks about what I believe is the correct place to exit Ethereum and all alts, right? But, Brandon, myself, we held firm that we believed in alt season. It's here. It looks like it's here right now. And I also said, look, if it didn't happen by the end of February, then I would reevaluate. First week of January, it seemed we saw some pretty explosive moves. We'll look at that in a second. I am rooting for all of crypto. I believe crypto has a gigantic place in our future. But for me, the trade's all about Bitcoin. But I'm not like one of these people that like believe that because, you have to take joy in other people's successes, right? If Bitcoin is Bitcoin, then I could care less about any other altcoin affecting what Bitcoin needs to do. Because if other altcoins are going to affect what Bitcoin ultimately is going to do, then it's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to do its thing regardless. No doubt about that. All right. There's a difference between... So, by the way, Bitcoin, our, central bank digital currencies is nothing more than glorified fiat, right? That's not crypto. That's just glorified fiat with a central database. That's all it is. Right? That's all it is. All right. Anyway, Andre, big shout out, brother. Let's take a look at what's going on. By the way, I want to talk about Bitcoin. I want to talk about this 20% drawdown. Super healthy, because going straight up wasn't healthy. right? Going straight up is never healthy. When I was looking at this personally, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just going straight up. But is this pullback over already? I don't think so personally. I think that the healthiest thing that we can see right now is some further consolidation. Ideally, we want to continue to hold this. It would be nice to see pullbacks capped at 20%. This is our third 20% pullback since going into the halving. I say going into because 1 week into the halving, we had a 20% pullback. We had one after, and then we had one 16.5% pullback. Now we have another 20% pullback. I don't think that we're going to all of a sudden go off to new all-time highs over here and continue shooting up. It could happen, but I would like to see personally some more consolidation over here. You know, how long that's going to take place, I have no idea. If it lasts a couple or a few weeks or more, that's all great. And why that's happening, if we continue to see alts pump, that's super healthy. We want to see that dance take place. But right now, there's no FOMO at all. This session, by the way, is not a session for jumping into trades. This session is for getting back into that flow. It's for getting that whole perspective and getting ready to do our work. So there's where we're on Bitcoin. I'm hoping we consolidate further over here. I'm hoping we put in a bit of a base and then are able to go ahead and continue our explosion upwards. Ethereum, some ginormous moves took place on Ethereum. We had what, like a 28% move or higher on Ethereum, probably more than that. I don't know. And then we saw that gigantic 27% pullback. I think it's all super healthy, but I think Ethereum should consolidate as well over here, right? From my understanding of price action, from my 20 plus years of just staring at these charts, we're now going to be, you know, testing the upside and downside for a moment here and figure out what's next. All right, so there's no rush. Let me talk quickly about Ethereum, Bitcoin. This is like a bit of a tracker for alt season over here. And you all know that we started tracking this together, right? We started tracking this. This was before we took off break. Let me go ahead to the 3-day chart over here. Let me just try to give it. That looks ugly. Out of the flow, but I'll get back into it. We were tracking this new all-time high over here, right? We were tracking that touch over here and then this other touch over here. And we said once we clear back out above there, Ethereum, Bitcoin could fly in favor of Ethereum over here. It's all taking place right now. Let me zoom in over here to show you in real time what's going on. You can see that we came into this upper resistance. It never held. It was rejected. What happens in crypto, especially right now during this phase of the market, is like what happens on other markets, fast forward at like a 3 or 5x speed. What takes months to unfold in normal markets takes weeks inside crypto. What takes weeks inside other markets takes days and hours inside crypto. You could see over here the resistance, the immediate test of that breakout and support. And now we're consolidating over here. Right now, again, I'm not looking I'm looking for consolidation. I'm looking for the market to consolidate a little bit. If we get above this resistance over here, that's a place and a time to close above that. That's a place and a time to start looking to get back into this trade. Otherwise, wait for maybe a further test down over here of this support. I'm calling this no man's land right now because of this spiky behavior that we've seen over here. Give price a moment to figure out what's going on. What else? So I covered this. People are asking about Tether. If you remember what happened in 2017, there was a lot of Tether FUD taking place. If you remember what happened in early 2018, there was a lot of Tether FUD taking place, and there always will be. I covered this in the most recently uploaded video on the channel. If you're interested in the very beginning of the video, you'll get my better articulation of it. But bottom line, I'm not concerned about it. Worst case scenario, you know, if Tether, if SEC file charges versus Tether, what happens? There's an outflow of Tether into what? Bitcoin, right? So, you know, I'm not worried about it at all. And maybe, and just maybe, it would be healthier for the overall market, you know? But either which way, when you talk about like dollars being printed out of thin air. I think you have to worry about the Federal Reserve, right? I think you have over 30% of all dollars were created in 2020. I think that's what you have to worry. I happen to believe and personally believe Tether is backed, right? We all know that the US government froze some bank accounts, which caused for a time being for that ratio to be off, not because it wasn't backed, because the US froze those accounts, right? And since then they've backed it with other assets. It's FUD. Get ready. What happens in bull markets? Like the FUD machines, coordinated attacks, press releases are sent. They're trying to talk you out of your Bitcoin. They're trying to talk you out of your Bitcoin, right? If you're not a believer by now, there's nothing I could do to help you become a believer. That's all, right? And by the way, everyone, everyone, everyone should be extraordinarily positioned into their Bitcoin and just right now on autopilot, right? Anyway, let's keep going. And we all know, let me just finish here, right? What happened with XRP, right? Who you were forewarned, you all knew, it all happened, and that's all we can say about that. Yes, that's true, Mike. I wanted to say that as well. There will also be a portion of Tether that went into other stable coins. Absolutely, of course. Now, the one worry is though, bike bowling. The one worry is though that as we get closer and closer to the launch of the digital dollar and other central bank digital tokens, which the digital dollar is not supposed to be ready to 2023, 2024. We are it's at that point we'll be seeing more of an attack on stable coins, I believe, right? Because stable coins are what? Competition. Central banks and governments don't like competition, right? Is that happening right now? I don't know, So there we go. What else are we looking at? I want to get into FX a little bit, right? I'm going to just pause a second on crypto. By the way, what's going on with Cardano? Brandon, Allen, tracking and attacking on that Cardano over here, right? A lot of people targeting $1, which probably could happen during this bull market. Litecoin also, I'm going to give them a session or two here to kind of reset themselves after all of this. I'll just call it price discovery, right? This, by the way, is not alarming. I think that the price action that we've seen occur is super healthy. I would be surprised if Bitcoin over here on the 3-day went ahead to make a new all-time high and then kept climbing. It could happen, but I'm not. That's not my base case by any means. All right. So let me back off a little over there. Let's take a look at FX. Let's see what's going on over there. We see the dollar is trading off over there. So Will, privacy coins are also under attack, right? Anyone notice the CEO of Kraken was like, I'm not receiving any pressure whatsoever to delist Monero or any other privacy coins. So that's interesting, right? That's really interesting. But at the end of the day, tokens like Monero have an actual use case, and that is privacy. And no matter what happened with prohibition, right? Did people stop drinking alcohol, right? If there's a use case, humans are extraordinarily resourceful. They're going to find a way, but right now they're definitely under attack. That's for sure. Let's take a look at FX. Yep, I'm going on FX right now, Kaya. I want to find out what's going on over there, and I want to make sure that I have that. By the way, as I was saying earlier in this session, if you want to improve your trading, if you want to be an expert on altcoins and being able to trade them, then focus in on FX. Focus in on a really technical, pure, efficient markets. Cryptos trade technically pure, but things unfold really quickly. You have to learn how to trade FX, and if you can master FX, you could trade any market with authority. I'm going to go ahead and remove all these flags over here. It's been a couple of weeks since I've looked at FX. I'm going to start getting into there right now and see what's going on. Ethereum, Bitcoin, all of crypto right now, you got to give a moment for them to consolidate over here. Everything that occurred in the last 12 hours was extraordinarily healthy. What was happening to the upside was not healthy, right? to see this pullback, 27% on Ethereum, super healthy. To see the 20% pullback on Bitcoin, super healthy. I'm going to run through FX over here so I get a better understanding of what's going on. I'm starting here with Euro US dollar right now. And I noticed that the DXY is printing new yearly lows. When I say yearly right now, I'm not talking about 2021. I'm talking about 12 months. And I see right now the Euro US dollar is also doing the same. By the way, before I get into FX, I have to take a look over here at Kips's metals over here just to see really quick what's happening. By the way, just a little bit of situational awareness. From my observations, as the precious metals pump, we see the industrial metals consolidate, vice versa. And that's what's happening over here on nickel over here. This is super great. This pullback over here to this support over here was super great. I mean, we've bounced pretty hard since. So I would say this is kind of neutral right now. And that's all. I'm going to say this is neutral right now. We look at this on the 3-day, right, often. And you can see right now we're between this new resistance as support, dead center. There's nothing else going on. I just want to get that. Well, that's interesting. Platinum making the move, but platinum is a precious metal. That's why. All right. And then copper, I just need to get my figure out what's going on. All right. What's going on here, by the way, with all commodities? We're seeing commodities in 2021. It looks like it's going to be the year of the great commodity run. Why is that? Is that because QE is deflationary? Careful whose opinion you listen to. Careful who buys the narrative of the central banks and what they want you to believe. Because they want you to believe that everything is deflationary and you're seeing deflation so they could keep running those printers. Because why? Because we need to keep the inflation at 2%. Why? Right? Anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, it's hyper inflationary for assets, right? Right? Is food an asset? No, food is not an asset, right? It's a commodity. Is it inflationary for commodities? Absolutely, right? Has food prices gone up? Not only have food prices gone up, but the packaging has been decreased. Packaging in food has gone down about 20%. The same thing you used to buy for $5 is still maybe $5, maybe a little bit more, but the quantity is less than 20% less than it used to be. They just trick you if you don't pay attention. All right, let's take a look at FX. Let's see what's going on in the markets over here. All right, let me start with the Euro US dollar. And Euro US dollar is trading right now at, I'm going to go to the 8-hour. We do this on the 8-hour time frame. The 8-hour is by far the best time frame to trade. A lot of people focus on the small time frames, the 1 hour or the 4-hour time frames. They think that the more trades they take, the more money they can make. I used to think the same 20 years ago, 15 years ago. What I learned is that the higher your time preference is that the more patient you are waiting for high probability trades. What I find is that the less trades you take, the higher your profits become. Focus in on that. Make that what you do in 2021. Yep. And by the way, this is Dean. This is what I do. Heath is obviously a master on those shorter time frames. All the work that Heath is doing, focus in on what Heath is doing. He's got a lot to share and a lot to learn from. No question about that. What I'm doing is I'm a little bit older, right? I got a bunch of kids, and for me, this is what works. All right. Soybeans. I saw that. Let's take a look at soybeans. And then we're going into FX. Oh my goodness, it looks like a crypto. It looks like a crypto. I'm not up to speed with what's going on. Something was going on with Argentina and soybeans. I'm not up to speed, but that's fun to look at. All right. If you're buying, all right, let me focus. I got to get off the comments just so I could focus on the charts over here. I'm going to fly through all of FX, and this is what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to see and just get that feel for those markets. All right. Euro US dollar right into resistance at all-time highs. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. This is what this means. Right now, The dollar's in a strong downtrend, right? The DXY, we look at the dollar index. What does that mean for US dollar pairs? I'm going to see which one is the strongest right now, right? But also at the same time, in uptrends, if you want to make money in 2021, buy off support. Sell off resistance in downtrends. Start doing that. Stop trying to pick bottoms. Stop trying to pick tops. And you're going to find out that all of a sudden, your profit and loss starts increasing. There's nothing to see or do right here. But what I want to do is see what's going on other dollar pairs. So let me check out the Australian dollar, US dollar. So I see the euro's a little stronger than the Australian dollar, but there's not much to read into either. And neither one of those is interesting where it's becoming, because I could only look for the buy side, and I can't look for the buy side as prices into resistance. What's going on with the pound US dollar? All right, that's pulling back a little bit, and you can see this is pulling back into local support over there. You see that one touch over here, the next touch over here? That's a bit of local support over here. All right, so what happens if you get a resumption off of that tomorrow? Is that something that you could take a look at? Possibly. Possibly. I'm looking over here and I see I have resistance up there. I want to take a step back and see what that looks like. That's my bit of a resistance over there. So there's a possible trade over here. Just so I get myself in the flow, I'm going to tag that and look at it later this afternoon. As of right now, I don't think it's a trade I would take, but that could be different later on. Let's take a look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. By the way, if you're just joining us and you want to know what's going on with the indexes ever, just pull back to the beginning of the live stream. The first thing that we look at every morning is the S&P 500, right? We have the U.S. markets open 10 minutes ago. You could look at the S&P 500, followed by the Nasdaq, the Dow, the Russell. Then we go into the dollar, the DXY, gold, silver, and then Bitcoin, and then Ethereum. So if you're just joining us, take a look at that, and you'll see what's going on, right? So the pound U.S. dollar. What's going on in the New Zealand dollar, U.S. dollar? All right, by the way, I had resistance over there. You see it? Do you see what the market's paying attention to? That last bit of resistance. We just pulled back, tested the support. So I just want to pull back a little bit, get a better look, and then you can see over here these other tags. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to move this down over here, this support, because that's what the market, that resistance broken into support, because that's what the market's paying attention to. I want to pay attention to what the market's paying attention to. Nevertheless, there's nothing for me to do over here right now. Okay. What else do we got? What about the US dollar, Japanese yen? What's going on over there? All right. So we got a weak yen. That's important for me to realize. We got a US dollar super weak, but the yen is weaker. What does that mean? That means that maybe I'm going to find a little more opportunity for myself against Japanese yen pairs. I'm going to see how they're set up in a second. I'm just trying to get my awareness right now. By the way, the US dollar, Canadian dollar is now underneath this important trend line over here. This was the dollar milkshake theory playing out. It's true. In a time of a crisis, in a time of a dollar shortage, the dollar milkshake theory is a valid theory. This was the dollar milkshake theory playing out. It happened. It could happen again in the future. It's not happening right now. As soon as the Fed expanded their balance sheet, doubled their balance sheet overnight, the smart money should have been paying attention. And when I say smart money, the smart money is those who are correct, right? So anyway, we're below this trend line back again over here, right? Could you be looking now here for shorts? This is a downtrend looking to sell resistance, but right now there's nothing set up over here. All right, let's go into Japanese yen pairs. We'll start with the British pound, Japanese yen over here. All right, I'm just pulling back a little bit. This is pretty strong, was pretty strong resistance. It should now be pretty strong support. And over here where price is right now, I see that touch over here. You see what I'm doing right now, by the way? Whatever instrument you're trading, what I'm doing, what I'm explaining is the purest form of TA that I know. It is definitely the most profitable, and you could translate this into any market that you're interested in. I'm not focusing on altcoins this morning because this is where, if you work at your FX game, you will become a master of the markets. So if you're right now interested in altcoins, and that's really where like you're kind of FOMOing, first of all, situational awareness. Right now, we just exploded to the upside and downside. When markets get volatile like that, you need to let them reset. You need to let them consolidate a little. Back off. What you're learning here right now, you could use to your advantage anywhere else. All right. So I'm looking right here at this right here, that touch. This is resistance. This is resistance. And we're right into that right now, right? So let me just draw that in as a guide for myself and for you, right? You see that area? If we hold this and resume off, is that a possible entry into a long trade over here after breaking above this big resistance, now turn support? Yeah. So pound US dollar, pound Japanese yen are both worth looking at later. Let me get a better idea what's going on with the Japanese yen by looking at other Japanese yen pairs. Here's the euro Japanese yen, right? By the way, I like extending. Once I have this bull flag, I always like extending that area of what was resistance and seeing how it holds as support, right? You can see that over there. You know, obviously, and that's healthy, right? This retest of that broken resistance holding as support, but there's no trade for me here. I missed it. And I didn't miss it. I wasn't even looking for it. All right. When I say I missed it, I mean there's nothing for me to do or act right now. What about the Australian dollar, Japanese yen? What's going on over there? Let's take a look. So this is consolidating pretty well over here, right? This looks like a bit of a bull flag to me. That looks pretty nice over here. I'll be tracking that. I'll be watching that. And by the way, this is resistance that I had in my chart over here. So I have a bit of a room over here to play with on any trade over here. So I'll keep watching this one. I don't see anything right now worth pointing out to you, but later this evening I want to feel the flow of that. How about that? Are you suggesting longing the top? Oh, yeah, Yahoo! Anyway, I'm not going to even play. No, 2021, I have no time for trolls or people searching for attention because their mom didn't give it to them or their daddy didn't give it attention to them. So they'll just gone. I won't have any. That's it. All right. So that's my 2021 New Year's resolution, because people that need to be here need to be here. And people that don't, see you later. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, right? Look at this over here. Focus on this. Focus in on over here on this. What was strong resistance is now support. Price coming over here, consolidating nice. This is something I want to watch. This is something I want to watch. I see the Canadian dollar on the move. We're seeing oil prices going up, right? That's it, Sam. And then we see oil prices rising. I think that's going to continue, not because it like warrants it, but because of what? That money that all these central banks are printing got to go somewhere. It goes into commodities. Oil's a commodity, right? Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. It looks good. I like it holding this retest of this area of broken resistance as support. So I'll look at it later. I'll be looking at it later. Paul, we got to focus on what's important. What's important is those looking to better themselves. What's important is those looking to build a future for themselves, for their communities, for their families. That's where our attention needs to be. 2020 was absolutely explosive for this community. Everyone knows who we are and what we've done. But 2021, we're going to take that to the next step. And to do that, we have to be intentional and we have to be mindful. And I can't have fun just playing, catch and wreck with trolls. They get me out of here. Right? Yeah, Stanley, we do. By the way, Wes is definitely a huge help. Cameron is a huge help. They stepped up to offer to help out with that. Anyone who's watching these live streams, not every day, you're not held to anything, but anyone who wants to help out, please go ahead and shoot me an email with the subject YouTube mod. I would greatly appreciate that help for sure. Peter, and I love the growth mindset, Peter. That's the attitude I have. Every day I'm looking to learn something new, and every day the markets have something to teach me, right? I'm going to skip over the Swiss franc Japanese yen because there's nothing I see here, and I just want to keep getting that feel for what's going on, right? Yeah, just send me an email and just YouTube mod, and I would be greatly appreciative of the more people we have helping, just the better it'll be over here. So I'm noticing over here, I just talked about extending that resistance over there. Look, you could see over here, this held as support. What is this? New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. completely healthy. That's kind of giving a buy signal right here. I said to myself, there's no way I'll take a trade this session, because this session is all about getting back into the flow for myself, right? It's like if you haven't played basketball for 2 weeks, you get back on the court, you got to warm up a little bit, right? And that's how I feel over here. The email can be found, George, if you go to the YouTube channel about section, it'll give you that email over there. Eugene, we have a live session this Thursday. It's at 10:30 a.m. Is it 10:30? Yeah, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. I posted it in the Telegram this morning. I'll send out details tomorrow on that, but it is this Thursday. All right. We're traveling later this morning back home, so I'm not going to be in much of a position to do it this evening, but I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely, Wes. Right. All right, what else is going on over here? This looks very healthy over here. I like that. Holding this top of resistance, confirming that the support is at an entry right now. I'm not looking to trade this session. We'll check in on that later. All right, what else have we got going on over here? Do we want to check out some cross pairs? I want to get a feel, so I'm not going to let them go. Let me start with the Euro Australian dollar. All right. Yeah, I like listening to everyone. Lynn Alden, in my opinion, if you want to really understand the why and what's going on, she's the one. In my opinion, I mean, I don't know. All I can say is, it's not really. We don't need to talk about it. Everyone knows Brent has everyone on the wrong side of the trade for way too long, just to uphold his macro thesis. And, Peter Schiff has proven that you could be right once every 8 years, but that's not a way to trade the markets, right? All right, what's going on? Euro, Australian dollar. Wow. Ugh. You notice my frustration? Oh, we were tracking this consolidation forever. We looked like we broke out to the upside over here. I tried taking the long over here, and then look what's happened over here during vacation. We've broken down hard to the downside. This is where we first broke down, right? Came back into it. Here was the test. Here was the retest. But right now, we are coming back up. We have local support, local resistance, shall I say, right over here. This is an area to track for me, right? This is in the game. This is possibly setting up later. Not right now, but maybe even by tomorrow morning, London, this might be giving me a setup over there. I missed DuckDuckGo's comment. Anyway, I'm not going into comments today. We'll do that on Friday. Yeah, that's awesome. Much respect for that. And everyone knows I put out a whole video showing my admiration and respect to Brent. I tweeted it and did an upload on it when he was listening to his mentor explain to him that, look, it's not only that we're going inflationary, inflation's already here. And Brett watched his mentor present that to him, the one who taught him about deflation. And Brett was listening with an open mind, right? And I was the one who said and tweeted to Brent. Brent liked it. Listen, much respect. Anyone who's able to just go ahead and be looking to be correct, that's what it's all about. But I already was very clear about that, and I already put him about that. Ethereum Classic. Listen, Michael, I think network effects are so important, right? Network effects. Bitcoin was the first mover into the space. Now, Bitcoin is the only one really competing against, things like gold. Is it competing against the dollar? Not even close. Will it one day? Maybe. But for a piece of that global monetary supply, Bitcoin's killer app is money, right? Ethereum, right? Ethereum is a protocol, and it's got so many network advantages. Ethereum Classic does not have the amount of devs building on top of it as Ethereum does. Now, from a purist standpoint, you could say, well, the Ethereum Classic chain is actually intact, right? You could argue that Ethereum is centralized. That's a different argument. What's being built on top of Ethereum, it has all the network effects. That's where you want to focus, in my opinion. Right? I agree, George. I agree. So the thing about alt season is that it's very forgiving. You could be very wrong and still do very well. Nevertheless, I want everyone to be focused where they should be focused. Yeah. So Neil, it's very true. Technology is super deflationary. Technology is super deflationary. Technology is giving cover to the central banks to continue to flow. Um, yeah, that was fun, Matthew. I was glad I got to share that with y'all. Um, but you know what? Early in the morning, I can't. I'm happy to be here with you every morning, but I can't be making sure my hair's brushed and my face is washed. You know, we're focusing here on what we do, and that's on the charts. By the way, let me take a look at what's going on here across the board. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. Look at this big resistance over there. This is a big level, huh? Look at that strong resistance, right? It looks like we're getting ready or trying to break above it. That would be something I want to keep watching above there. That would be a signal for me. I'm thank my guardian angel for bringing me over there really quick. What about the Australian dollar, Swiss franc? I have no idea, Bern. I don't understand the premium. When I say I don't understand, I've never taken time to understand the premium on Grayscale, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything else. That's simply because I'm invested into GBTC, but I'm only holding that, right? And will I sell it at the top of the cycle? Yeah. So I'm not day trading that. I don't understand the premium. That's all. Australian dollar, Swiss franc looking a little bit healthier into the resistance over there. Let me go ahead and tidy up my lines over here just so I'm focused in on the market. So that's interesting. That's another big line over here as New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc is getting ready to possibly test a resistance. So is the Australian dollar, Swiss franc over there. Very nice. Very nice. I skipped over the Swiss franc Japanese yen because I don't see it, right? I don't. This is like a big area over here that we're in, and I don't see a setup that I like. I feel like we're in a bit of congestion over here. But you see those Australian dollar, Swiss franc, New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. They could be anywhere from a day to 2 days away from giving a nice signal. So I'm gonna be following those over there. Um, what else we got going on this morning? So that's a good question. What do I think caused the Bitcoin drop? Um, no, so again, it's like what caused the melt up, you know? And we were in a melt up, and so this I don't know. To me, it's just normal, right? This is like super healthy. What was happening was a little bit frightening, not because I didn't think that it was a blow off top or we were seeing some type of melt up that would cause like the demise of Bitcoin whatsoever. And I like it as it's rising because as it's rising, it just raises the floor for myself. But at the same time, it's just not normal price behavior. And seeing this overnight correction of 20%, why some people might be like, oh, that just goes to show why Bitcoin can't be any type of traditional investment because it's too volatile. Whatever, that's Bitcoin. Get used to it. That's what happens, and that's just a 20% pullback. Technically beautiful, right into the look, right into our support. Beautiful, everything that happened. But I'm hoping, when I say hoping, I would like to see further consolidation now. If we start resuming up here and making new all-time highs, that's crazy, right? What does that mean? That would be more signal to me if that happened, that wow, there is actually a huge supply shortage of this scarce asset that is being taken off the exchanges, right? Everyone is aware of what's happening. We're seeing Bitcoin being bought off exchanges, put into cold storage, and it's going to be kept there, right? The supply shortage is real, right? There's no dollar shortage. There's a Bitcoin shortage, right? And you got right now, by the way, in 2021, as the new year begins, right now, what's going on? Boardrooms across the US and in Europe and in Asia, they're all meeting and they're saying, oh my goodness, I thought we had time. Time's running out. The real FOMO is not going to start, right? Until when? 50,000? yeah, above 50,000, you're really going to start seeing institutional FOMO. Above 100,000, you're really going to start seeing institutional FOMO into Bitcoin. And that's what we're looking at right now, right? Watch out oil if the dollar changes course. Yeah, I mean, listen, it could, and we'll always be watching as we always do for signs of a dollar reversal, but we're not there right now, right? Uh, you know, we're not there right now. So head and shoulders, yeah. Listen, this is a really important tip that will save you a lot of money and make you a better trader. Instead of looking for head and shoulders, just track the neckline and don't ever take the trade unless the trend line breaks, right? A lot of people, they're preemptive of head and shoulders. They're always looking for them, and they're always like taking the trade on the right shoulder. It's a bad trade. Bitcoin is normally overbought in the bull phase. That's exactly true. I like that comment. Very important over there. All right. What else do we say? What else are we at? It's 1 hour. Anything else that we want to? I'm gonna kind of. I took a look around, and I have a really good situation awareness of where I'm at this morning. If anyone wants to look around for a little while, I'm not in a rush to get off by any means. So let's see what's going on with all of you. I'm gonna focus in on a little bit on the comments. That's a good question over here, right? Thoughts on the pound now that the Brexit fiasco is over. I was waiting for today to get a better clue here as banks are coming back to what's going on. It seems to me that we're not seeing any sharp repricing one way or the other on the pound, right? Um, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any thoughts except that I'm going to let the market show me, and I'm just going to be trading the pound off of the technicals. That's all. But it looks to me that we're not. Everything is pretty much priced in, and that we're not seeing any surprises. That's the market actually being pretty efficient here. And I don't believe that the markets are efficient. Obviously, I don't believe in efficient market theory. But over here and right now, the markets are being very efficient, right? We wanted to look at, what was this Tim wanted to look at over here? Nexo. So I have a feeling that I'm skipping altcoins today, right? And that's because of this. Let me come down over here. Look at this. Look at these big moves over here though. I'm gonna give altcoins a session or two here to consolidate before getting involved or looking to get involved. The price action that we saw overnight suggests to me that we need a little bit of price discovery to the upside and to the downside of this current range. When I say current range, I'm talking about the high over here and the low over here. I would like to see a little bit of consolidation over here. Look, of course, we might not get it, right? And if we see price going ahead making new all-time highs and then Bitcoin trading up, that to me is going to be a big suggestion that we are seeing a real shortage over here of actual Bitcoin and a real FOMO from institutions. Do I have any opinion on the Chinese New Year's impact on Bitcoin? Something Bitcoin will be soft down during that time. So a lot of people always are looking for, expecting that sell off in Bitcoin in January, right? Look, I'm the one always to say that this time is not is look, this time is not different. There are certain things that are different in this Bitcoin bull market. And when I say that, what do I mean by that? What's different? The drawdowns are different. This is our third 20% drawdown we've seen, right? Since going into the halving, from 1 week into the halving and beyond, and 116.5, where in the past we saw 30% drawdowns. That's different. Was this the January drawdown? I mean, maybe. You could see that dips are being brought up, right? Um, Look, there's no question about it in my mind. Oh, let me bring this up. This was pointed out to me over here by, I don't want to keep things private that are private, by Walter, saying, look, over here we had the CEO, right, of this DeVere group selling 50% of his Bitcoin on around Christmas, saying that, look, I'd rather sell high and then rebuy the dips, right? Price has already taken a dip, and it's that dip, that 20% dip, is well above where he sold his Bitcoin. I've said it before that during the bull market, you're going to see a lot of traders exit Bitcoin and then have to buy back a lot higher. That's the risk. In my opinion, you want to stay fully invested for this Bitcoin bull market cycle. We are seeing the volatility the same as or similar to 2017, except in 2017, we saw that volatility to the upside and downside. Right now, we're only seeing it really to the upside. Okay, but the volatility is there. That leads me to believe that we're going to see a drawdown, right? A normal drawdown down the bear market phase because the volatility hasn't changed. But right now, I want everyone to focus where they need to focus. And in my opinion, that's staying fully invested. I'm not, if you were looking for the drawdown, we just had a 20% dip. This is a perfect example also of why you always want to have your orders in. I'm talking about Bitcoin, but this is relevant to all crypto. And I've also talked about on altcoins, as Alan has pointed out, you might want to have some limit orders, buy limit orders far from market, because sometimes in these illiquid pairs, you'll get these price spikes. You're not going to have the time to go ahead and place the orders later. So if you're interested in, XYZ, maybe you want to have your buy limited orders pretty far from market just in case they get filled. But if you're looking for pullbacks, we just had a 20% pullback. I hope we get some consolidation now, but that's it. So Nick, it depends. I mean, in the U.S. here, if you're worried about capital gains, I don't think you should be worried about capital gains. You all know that I talk about if I could get out during the Bitcoin bull market within 20%, 25% of the all-time high, I'm a hero, right? If you worry about paying capital gains, you're doing it wrong, right? You should have no problem. I don't know why when people talk about Bitcoin, like they automatically think about like some type of like tax evasion. It's a public blockchain. That's absolutely ridiculous, right? Not saying that you're saying that. I think Binance does limit orders. There's many monkey farm that do limit orders, right? But listen, any income that you earn, you pay taxes on. You know, you get to have the potential here to earn significant income, perhaps if you're smart about it in Bitcoin and crypto, but you got to pay taxes on it. Capital gains is a pleasure to pay. If Georgia goes blue and they're able to raise capital gains to 40% or above, is that a game changer for myself where maybe I'm going to continue to hold Bitcoin and maybe wait 1 or 2 or 3 more cycles until capital gains comes down again? Yeah. If I needed any type of money, would I then be interested in maybe borrowing versus my collateral? Yeah, that's an option. So right now, as capital gain stands, it's a pleasure. Why would you want to avoid it? However, if capital gains is raised to 45%, yeah, then maybe you might not want to sell your Bitcoin and might want to hold that until the laws change again. Yeah, you need to pay anytime you transfer fiat into Bitcoin or crypto, that's not a taxable event. Anytime you transfer out of Bitcoin or crypto into fiat and or other crypto, that's a taxable event. All right. All right. This is a classic comment. By the way, it wouldn't be 2021 if we didn't check in on Tesla. Let's check in on Tesla over here. Tesla printed new all-time highs. I've been very clear about a couple of things. Normally, as Tesla here, especially a large cap stock, is added to the index, that's normally its interim top. Now, when I keep saying this time is different, or that I'm the guy who's like this time is never different. This time is different in the fact that we have this enormous QE coming from not only the Federal Reserve but all central banks, right? What happens when the Fed's printing? Stocks go up. What is QE? It's hyper asset inflationary, right? What happened in Venezuela as the economy and the what is it, the Bolivia went down to nothing, stocks went to the moon, right? Is that going to be different in the US? Listen, if the markets are crashing at any point in time, I will be there with you, just as we were in February into March, and we will be the ones attacking and killing it. But right now, the markets are not crashing. There's no signs of that. Is it possible that Tesla breaks the norm this time because of what's going on with central banks? Yep. Thanks, Miguel. Appreciate that. Is Binance a reliable exchange? Yeah, I think Binance has proven itself to be extraordinarily reliable. Everyone remembers the $250 million Binance insider hack, and they covered all those funds, right? I would I think Binance, in my opinion, is super reliable, right? Simon, I'm just avoiding all alts today. Oop, I want to take a look at QBTC over here. This is the Bitcoin play on the Canadian Stock Exchange over here. Oh, we're a little stuck over here. There we go. So, all right, let me come down over here. Let me see what's going on. We got some hate going on over here for Binance, huh? Why? Yeah, so Samuel, that's something I want to talk about. By the way, if you're talking about QBTC, if you're talking about GBTC, again, in Jordan's opinion, the best way to play it is to track it on Bitcoin. And when we're looking for the exit is when you exit off of this. I don't think anyone should be day trading these things. Yes, the advantage of day trading here in a retirement account is that you're not paying taxes on these trades. That's a huge signal. But then this brings us back to Samuel's comment. Maybe you want to do it off of strategy 3 in 3 ways to trade Bitcoin, right? But what Samuel just noted is that was a 110 gain. I'm only looking for 150 to 170% gains off of the last low to go ahead if you were playing strategy number 3. And not only that, so Samuel, that's off of here. That was off of the 16.5% pullback. I believe that takes us around to 40,000, which was when I was looking 40,500 when I was looking for a possible the first big retrace. It just came now, right? It just came now. Nevertheless, I have to say, I am not looking to trade strategy 3 at all anymore because of the velocity of what I'm seeing happen in this bull market, because of the huge demand, and because we're seeing these pullbacks that are not only very shallow, they're very quick. The last time we had a 16.5% pullback, it lasted a day or two. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen again here. I hope it doesn't. I hope we consolidate. I hope that we put in a bit of a base here before making our next move up. That would be healthier. But I'm personally not looking at strategy 3. I'm hyper focused on strategy 1 and also 2, adding on pullbacks. So, yes, that's true. I agree with that. Yeah, the market changed my mind. I adapt to the market. I just adapt to the market, and what I'm seeing here is these pullbacks have been shallow and they haven't been lasting long, right? I hope this one's different. I hope we get the opportunity here to consolidate a little bit. But listen, if for any reason, anyway, I'll leave it there. I mean, Enrico, you have no idea all the and this is not only to everyone. I am absolutely grateful anytime anyone lets me know what this channel has done, what this community has done for them, how it's bettered themselves, better their situation. That's what feeds me, and I'm extraordinarily grateful for that, Enrico. Yeah, if you would put together a video and send it to me, I would be so grateful. Listen, if anyone wants to donate to a charity, at the end of this bull market cycle, that would be fantastic. But Enrico, right now, you know, use those funds and grow those funds in 2021. There's ample opportunity over here, and I want to see you put your capital to work right now. All right, brother. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your beautiful heart. All right. It's a COVID story. Kips is back in full form. He's quick as can be. That rested him well, for sure. All right. I think we're going to call it a session over here so I could come in strong tomorrow. There is not going to be any update this afternoon, right? But there will be tomorrow morning, our normal live streams. Then we'll be back to the normal sessions, right? That would be beautiful, Katie. That would be beautiful. It's you know what? It's been my lifelong dream to actually have my own self-funding charity that serves those who take care of the poorest of the poor, that those themselves that live in poverty serving the poor, right? I'm thinking if I can, maybe in this year I'll actually start that charity. The charity of my choice is not is not a 501. It's people where I met my wife over in Bosnia Herzegovina, who just spend their life taking care of the poor, and anyway, Katie, that's a dream of mine. It might be realized in 2021, but thank you for also for that. Listen, let's do our best right now to focus on what we need to focus in on, and that is making sure that we ride this wave and get the most out of it and do ourselves to better ourselves and our situations. And then later in the year, right, when we're looking at that exit and when we do exit and when we plan our next moves going forward, if at that point, if anyone would like to donate to a charity, I would be happy to share what's on my heart with you all. But I at this moment, all I could say is just thank you for your beautiful hearts. That's all. All right, everyone. Let's buy the Hamptons. Let's, So I'm gonna put some music on over here. Thank you for the session. right, everyone. Great start to 2021. What a joy to be with you all. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon.